Man, it's all coming to a head this year. The corrupt prosecutors, the money that's been laundered through ActBlue, their entire system, their organization of corruption. Rep. James Comer and the FBI to bring criminal charges against ActBlue operatives in the largest money laundering scheme in U.S. freaking history. I want you guys to listen for a second to this interview that just dropped yesterday, talking about exactly what they're finding from the Treasury Department in relation to ActBlue's small donations.
Chairman Comer, I gotta tell you, man, this thing is just rotten. It's just rotten. I don't know if we have the direct evidence just yet, but man, you sure can put the pieces together and say that ActBlue must be one of the largest money laundering organs this side of the Biden family.
And that's exactly how we're going to investigate this. The same way we investigated the Bidens. We're starting with the suspicious activity reports. These are the bank violations that if anyone commits a financial crime, the banks will catch it. I come from a banking background.
Great. Another politician from a banking background. No, that's just awesome. I'm super duper comfortable with that.
And I can tell you, there are extensive security measures in place. The banks have auditors, they have compliance officers, they have bank examiners. They catch suspicious activity, and especially if it's on a large scale and lots of different transactions. So what I tried to do, this was back during last summer, was request the suspicious activity reports from Janet Yellen in the Biden administration, and they would not reply to my request. We knew that ActBlue was getting just a ridiculous amount of money going through. Heck, my opponent that I beat by 50 points raised, several $100,000 on ActBlue, and she had zero chance. If you ranked the races from 1 to 435, that wouldn't rank in the top 400 as having the potential to win. But she was still getting all these mysterious donations. And you had House candidates that 80% of their campaign budget came from anonymous small dollar donors on ActBlue. So we smelled something. Obviously, it came out what Rubio said, that they weren't using the code on the back of the credit card. That allowed for fraud. It just didn't make sense. Like the interviewer, like the woman that was interviewed on that clip that had $180,000 worth of donations. So we requested these violations. They wouldn't give them to us. After the election, then Janet Yellen let a few of my staffers go in there, and they said, yes, there are several hundred suspicious activity reports from various banks. We got to go in and look at 12. And I can tell you they were bad. They were what we suspected. And we've requested to see more. They cut us off. Obviously, they were involved in the transition and all that. Now we've got a new Treasury Secretary. We're supposed to go in there in the next week or so and examine them all. But I can tell you there's enough that we've seen already from media reports and from the few bank violations that we've already looked at, that a lot of our worst theories are going to be confirmed with respect to ActBlue. And that's why so many people are hitting the exits right now at ActBlue.
Talk about jumping ship. Democrat fundraising powerhouse ActBlue facing internal chaos as at least 7 senior officials resign. The exodus began late last month, according to an article from the New York Times. What prompted so many long-time ActBlue officials to leave is not clear.
How much is the money?
$86,708. Does that number make sense to you?
$86,000?
Yeah.
Max, I did that.
21 and 22, do you think you gave over $30,000?
No. No. I don't give $200 or $150.
None of the former officials agreed to be interviewed on the record. The exodus set off deep concerns about ActBlue's future. Last week, 2 unions representing the group's workers sent a blistering letter to ActBlue's board of directors that listed the 7 officials who left. The letter described an alarming pattern of departures that was eroding confidence in the stability of the organization. Does that not sound like rats leaving the sinking ship to you? Try to tell me these outlets don't skew left. left. Like many organizations, we undergo some transition heading into this new election cycle. We're focused on ensuring we have a strong team in place, said Megan Hughes, ActBlue spokesperson. We greatly appreciate the contributions of our incredible team members, and they remain deeply committed to the success of our organization and our mission to enable grassroots supporters to make their voices heard. No mention at all of the investigations by the House Oversight Committee or how the FBI is now cooperating with the House Oversight Committee. The connections here are ridiculous. Check this out. Both people who made attempts on Trump's life were identified as ActBlue donors. Is that insane?
That's right. This Thomas Crooks was identified by the BBC, stating voter records show that Crooks was a registered Republican. He also donated $15 to the fundraising group ActBlue in 2021, according to an election donation filing. On September 15th, we had a second attempt on President Trump's life by Ryan Wesley Routh at Trump's golf course in West Palm Beach, Florida. Again, unemployed, but making donations to ActBlue, according to the FEC. It's especially ironic in light of all the elderly names that are being used and taken advantage of, these Smurfs telling us they haven't made donations.
Not to mention that back in 2023, Washington state analysts found thousands of illegal election donation mules donating millions to ActBlue. Their thousands of donations added up to millions of dollars by supposedly unemployed Americans to the super PAC. Yo, ActBlue is officially the second sketchiest organization that I know of in politics. The sketchiest one, to me, is Dominion and the stuff they got going on since 1998 with their voting systems, okay? I'm sorry for the weird audio stuff. I'm moving to a new format for mastering, and it's working out the kinks.